So, hey da boo boo! Welcome to Forex.Today. We gotta take the pips from the hedge fund manager. G'day, mate. Welcome to Forex.Today. Let me remind you that trading is risky, not appropriate for everyone. Your past performance, good or bad, is not necessarily indicative of future results. Please stay small, stay humble, focus on the long term, never risk money you cannot afford to lose. I say, do not risk money you cannot afford to lose. La 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 la. My name is Wayne. I'm the chief FX market strategist for TradersWay.com. I just love that song, man. So anyways, hey, I'm a currency trader, been doing this a long time. I have one prime directive when I wake up in the morning, and that is to make you a better currency trader. The only thing is I don't know who wants it more, me or you. Yeah? I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make it drink. Do these sessions 7:30 in the morning. I am happy to be here for these sessions because it's some of my favorite time of the day, I think. Yeah, like pretty much this is it. It's great. It's really good to be around other traders, I'm telling you. Keeps the juices flowing. So we can discuss the debates, because you might be a cunning linguist, but I'm a master debater. And we can talk about the debates and all that kind of stuff. Really, I want to also talk about Algiers and that kind of stuff. And I don't know if you paid attention, but right before the election, as you know, as a professional currency trader, we had Governor Pelosi out of Canada say a few things like, it'll probably be 5 years until Canada can get back on track with oil prices. Holy snap. What? Yeah. So lots of very interesting things going on. All right. Sorry. Yeah. Hang on. Yeah, for those who are watching the video, I'm also moderating a meeting between our development team and our network team, and blah, 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 blah. He can... So life is great. All right, so on the left is Kenyatta. Monthly R1, weekly R1. If you were a bear, what would you do? Well, it seems to me somebody wanted to sell. Can you see that? To the pip, y'all. To the pip, y'all. So you should look at that and say somebody had a plan. Somebody, some people actually plan their trades. And these people were big enough to move the market a fair bit. Okay? Also, what do you think about that one? Life is great, life is grand, life is good. Oh, come on. How about let's ellipse this way? I can't see that. Oh, I guess it is there. All right. Huh? Yeah? Week started out bullish, dropped back to the weekly central, touched it to the pip, and went straight up to weekly R1, which is resistance, and stopped to the exact pip. Interesting, huh? And you could say, oh, well, you know, this is the presidential debate in the United States of America. This first move actually was Governor Pelot's. And when he was talking, the Canadian dollar was weakening. This was the presidential debate. But nonetheless, even if those were fundamental news-driven, you know, events, oh, did that trade technically, huh? And then look at the drop to the 55. This predicts a double top up here. I don't know why we would get Canadian dollar strength. I guess it would have to be US dollar weakness. But I just wanted to throw that out there, that one of my messages to you over and over and over again is the bulls are right and the bears are right. You just need to be on one of the teams, probably not both of the teams, right? And if you bought at hardcore support or if you sold at hardcore resistance, you probably made money. Okay, so very, very interesting. So that's Pelot's. Over here is oil. So I'm going to say this is Pelot's. This is the debates. Decide what you want to do. Over here, okay, over here is oil. And one of the things I've been preaching for a long time is that OPEC is not capable of managing the oil market. No more. Because they are not necessarily the swing producer. So a swing producer, for example, has excess capacity it can turn on easily, sort of like being liquid. Did I just lose you? I got an Adobe error message. You guys still around? Number 5 alive. Okay, good. All right. So you cannot be a swing producer, and like a swing producer would say, if oil prices went up too high because there was a shortage or a shock to the system, like terrorist attack in an oil producing nation, you know, fires in Canada shut down oil production, hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico, riots in Venezuela, riots in hang on, Nigeria. Sorry, I got lots of things going on in the background here. So, anyways, if any disruption like that took place, the traditional swing producer, which would be Saudi Arabia, could just pump up the volume. See what I mean? So if we were short 1 million barrels a day, oh, well, Saudi Arabia just add 1 million barrels a day and it's not a problem. Well, guess what? They're at 100% capacity. What? They're at record levels. Record levels out of Saudi Arabia. So, and then all their buddies, like we've said before, Iran wants to produce more oil. Venezuela wants to produce more oil. Probably Nigeria. Angola. Yeah, probably want to produce more oil. So, lower for longer, baby. And yeah, so I would say, you know, this is much more likely to be heading down for a while. And what Governor Pelot said yesterday, 3 to 5 years. What we've been talking about is, you know, not quite up to 50, not quite down to 40. And that's that. And we continue to move sideways. So another thing you could do is, sell rallies carefully, mind you, during OPEC meetings. And you could just say, well, you're going to get all these OPEC ministers together, and they're going to agree on nothing. And I'm not even sure how much they like each other. So when Nixon went to Iran in 1968, I don't know, a long time ago, the Shah of Iran and other powers of be back then schooled the boy, schooled Nixon, gave him a history of the Middle East, and the first thing they said is, we're not Arabs. So there you go. So that was a long time ago, but I guess it would give you kind of a point of view. Like, imagine that's the conversation, or that's the tension taking place in the halls of their 5-star hotels. The Saudis want us to cut. The Saudis want us to freeze, and they laugh. It could be, right? I mean, it could be. And that they're just not going to have those conversations, right? So anyways, and I forget where I read that, but I read it somewhere, so hopefully I didn't bastardize history too much, but I've read a lot when it comes to the history of oil globally. So I always thought that was interesting. So anyways, I think you could probably make a career betting against OPEC actually agreeing on anything. Maybe when oil prices are so ripper high they can't spend the money fast enough. They're like, how many, when you're putting suicide doors on the jet plane, then yeah, fine. But when people are starving to death and they're about to invade your palace, yeah, they're going to pump oil no matter what you say. Is that right? Would you agree? I mean, ultimately, I don't know, right? But that's what I think. So it'll be interesting when I'm the keynote speaker at the Forex Expo in the Middle East. I tend to tone down my message a little bit. Hi, everybody. Life is great. Life is grand. Life is good. Life is beautiful. Yeah. All right. So yeah, oil. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything about that. So if oil goes down, kitty CAD, USD kitty CAD goes up. Whoa. So with that knowledge, let's say you're doing one of two things. You are buying this move, or you're buying that move. Notice how all of this started, guys, like this. You see? It's not just this week, it's how last week ended. It's also the month central. There's a lot going on here, right? Because then you take the macro of what's going on, and the macro move is that support to that resistance to that support, right? And that's your fractal geometry. It's not just the up and down, up and down, up and down, 3-wave correction, right? 3 chords in the truth. Another way you could play it, even on a higher macro, maybe you play it like a double bottom or a triple bottom, right? Followed by a higher high, followed by a higher low, followed by a new higher high, right? Just got to get past this junk. If you don't think that's the game to play, then your choice is you need to be selling in that zone because you think you're coming back down to here. Right? So a bull is buying these dips. And a bear should be selling this zone. Whoop. And you'd have to say, oh, look at the cluster of R1s. Yeah. Well, you know, like I said, if you're already bear and you're staring at a monthly R1, weekly R1, and you didn't sell, then I don't think you're a bear. You just don't have a trade plan. Oh, Wayne, I don't like 2 time frames of resistance. I like 7. I only sell when the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, daily, and weekly all say the same thing. That's like ice skates in hell, right? Good luck with that. Yeah. 4 times a year, work, right? Like they say, right, 40% of the time, it works every time. So what did we talk about maybe 2 days ago to prepare for this week? Not just, and I'll give you a hint, it's not an end of quarter type move. But what should you be preparing for about now? Sort of like, yeah. Oh, the Mexican peso. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Now, the scary part of that is it is going to be related to oil, and we think oil is coming down, huh? So that's a little scary. But you got to keep your eyes on the prize. By the way, is anyone like just fascinated, perhaps didn't know these types of relationships, like, oh, you should be switching over and doing this now because of this random thing? Is anybody just amazed at some of these things? It's neat, right? Like, oh, well, look, 4th Tuesday of the month, or move over to peso. Now, I swear we talked about it was either going to fall here or the next one higher. Yesterday, maybe? I don't know. I'll have to double check. But it was like, get ready, because I don't know if it's today, I don't know if it's tomorrow, I don't know if it's next week, but now's the time to get ready. And if you're a bear and you expect Mexican peso to get strong, it's either going to double top and drop or head up to the resistance cluster up here and drop. So yes or no, did we talk about this just like yesterday before it fell? Yeah, it is interesting, James. Yeah, there's people on TV are starting to talk about it. Yeah. But, you know, isn't that great that we were here yesterday talking about it was going to fall either in this zone or sort of the higher up area? But you should be ready if you are preparing for the end of month repatriation. You need to get ready and identify the next 2 levels of resistance, the one we're at and the one, above. Boom. Lucky again, right? Sort of like this move here. This is, again, this exact same time period, weekly resistance, and boom, Mexican peso got strong. Yeah, but only for 4 or 5 days in a row, Wayne, in a predominantly Mexican peso weakness world. To pick out the 5 days out of 20 that it's going to be strong is kind of important information. Hey, by the way, those in South Africa, are you able to access Forex.Today without any problems? We flared the server for you. There were some issues a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, we have a lot of South Africans because of an event I did recently. Turns out the major ISP in South Africa is stupid. I can't think of a better word. Their servers aren't set properly. Yeah, because everybody else in the whole entire world has no problems. It's just turns out it's an ISP in Johannesburg that doesn't have their server set properly. So for them, I've had to spend a couple of $100 a month flaring the server for them. Long story short, that means people in South Africa can access Forex.Today without a problem. Yeah. So anyways, good job, Johannesburg. Representing the number one ISP in Johannesburg doesn't have their servers set properly. Yeah. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, right, Marina? Yeah. No, I'm totally interested in Cape Town. Plus, I got to meet the great Marina. By the way, is Botswana a tax haven? Like, why do you have a country in the middle of another country? I thought maybe it was a tax haven or something. Busy selling in, yeah, yeah. After a year, right? What else is there to do, Maria? Well, you could sell oil all year. You could sell euro all year. But that's the cool thing. That's what leads you to success as a bias. Because even when your bias is wrong, at least you know you're wrong. Hey, good. Everybody's happy. Hey, look at that. Developers are now happy. Host guys, network guys are happy. Everybody's happy. Nice. See? This is why I wake up in the morning. All right. Wake up in the morning. All right. What do you want to do? This comes down to, right? Definitional scenarios, right? Do you consider this sideways? Right? You could have your charts drawn like this, for example. Okay. And I guess you could play it like this. Those are your steps. Or do you see it trending? It's your call. Because if you zoom in now, because this is 4 hours, right? You could really get caught. Just make sure you know what when you're trend trading in a range bound market, it could appear to work for a while and then it could just stop working. So make sure you don't drink too much Kool-Aid, right? So you get this scenario here where you have to buy This is one of those scenarios required by law if you're bullish, right? And it goes and it makes a higher high and it just gets you up to here. And this is where you can get caught. You think it's going to do this, but it could do this. So you need to decide whether you're a bull or a bear, or if you traded these earlier trades, jam your stops or take your profits, whatever you need to do. I've had a lot of break-even trades this month. Quite frustrating, but that's how it goes. So you have to make decisions and live with the consequences. So another way of looking at it is, what are you going to do it here? Are you going to buy it at the daily support 1? Are you going to buy it at this roll reversal? It's a 618, I believe. So how do you mark up your charts, right? Right? If you use your daily pivots, you're going to say, well, this is the DM3 area, so price is going to come down here and then bounce, right? If it does that, then we're going to be stuck in this range. So therefore, I would say up and down until there's a break. Okay. Man, pound dollar straight up, euro dollar straight down. There's a shields up red alert moment. Ba 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 ba. Oh, I got too much going on here. This is going to be way too distracting. Guess we can look at USD yen. Yeah. So we're about to do the great test, aren't we? The great break. I haven't seen anything to stop that, have you? So, but we know there's a problem, isn't there? It's this. It's this right there. It's the psych level. People have been buying it, but less. Like, think of it this way. We touched 100, and what happened? The market jumped this much. Then we touched 100 again, and the market jumped half as much. What's going to happen next time? It's going to only go this much, right? And then what? Life is great, life is grand, life is good. Life is beautiful. Ooh, 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 ooh. What did I want on here? What I was thinking is that these are not dead, but what I also want is monthly. So let's just insert indicator custom. Weekly, forget it. True. Yeah, 98, huh? Kind of feels like we certainly want to try 99 and a half. 98 wouldn't be impossible, huh? What do you think? Yeah, James says he wants Aussie and Kiwi to rally more, and so do I. I was actually short Aussie yen yesterday, a couple of 100,000, and I think one had, I don't know, 60 pips, and the other one had 30 pips. And out at break even on both. And now we're right heading back down again, right? So, but this doesn't look like, I don't know. I don't feel a rally at the moment. It feels heavy, doesn't it? Or doesn't it look heavy? Doesn't it look like it's falling on the 4 hour? So yeah, euro yen down, I think is what I said yesterday, right? Right? Don't you remember I said you should have a bias? And I said I'm still bearish on euro because there's no reason to buy euro. I don't see anyone actually buying euro. I see euro USD going up from time to time, but this commitment of traders report tells me they're not buying euro, they're just getting out of dollar positions because of the uncertainty of interest rates. Fine. So euro goes up against the dollar because it's a dollar move, but if you've given up on carries and it just looked because you didn't get any action out of the BOJ, right? Then what you're looking at is maybe euro yen. Not on the 1 minute, but I don't know. Let's go back into here a little better, right? Maybe you're in that scenario. So yesterday we came up, we hit a pivot cluster, roll reversal, and down. I don't know. You gotta love something or hate something, and I don't really love anything at the moment, but I still hate the euro, right? Wake up in the morning, it's 1:45. What do you do? Well, the flip side of that, like you should be asking yourself right now, are you buying Kiwi yen at 73? I mean, I try not to like put you into trades, but sometimes, we all need a slap in the face, right? So it's like, well, if you're so bullish, what the hell are you doing right now? Right? I don't get it, Bubba. Let's put it here. All right. Bubba. Well, it's vacation. It's where a currency trader blows up his account and you never see him again. Um, does this seem like a higher high to you? Marina's been taking it down. That's fine too. As long as you do it up at resistance, and there's resistance. Yeah. Yeah, and that is the situation where the world seems like yen strength, but it doesn't have to be. And I never like preaching one direction over another. It's for you to decide. So Marina could be selling it. If you're selling up here, golden, right? Great. But if you are still a bull, Kiwi makes a lot of sense just with the interest rate differential. So now what you need is a technical setup. And it seems to me, well, this used to be resistance. Okay. And now we have made a higher high up here. So you have your double bottom with the higher high. So this is a 1, and this is a 2, and now you're setting up a 3. And you would assume that somewhere around here it would turn up. Right? Now, we don't know if you're right, but you should be setting up the pattern, a 1, 2, 3 pattern. Great. Now, is there a particular price in here where this could be very, 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 very interesting for those that are trying to buy it? How do you predict the future on this one? What is the right price? How about 73,000 weekly M2? Could be a rabbit, could be. Right? You see what I mean? Like if you did want to buy it, we don't know if that's an opportunity, but if you're thinking that maybe it could be, and you're not watching it, then like, what the heck are you doing? What is it that you're doing? I ain't doing nothing. Right? So you got to be watching these psych levels. Now, in bearish moves, you ever notice, let's say, so this would be a bullish move, but let's say the opposite. I know it looks bearish, but on a higher time frame, it's bullish. Do you ever notice, like, if there's a psych level here and prices come down, that it busts through and then drops? Like it goes 3 or 4 pips above and then it collapses? And why does it do that, Jimmy? Human emotion has nothing to do with human emotion. Stop hunting, nothing to do with stop hunting. Has nothing to do with 80-20. Because you'll notice the other way, when you're above support, it has not a problem. But when you're below support and comes back, you go a little too high, and then it collapses. Second chance? Nope. Spread. Thank you, Damath. Yeah, Damath has it. You're selling the bid, right? You're selling here the bid, the ask, spread. And so you're probably looking at this price as it's going up, but you're selling that price. So if you threw down a limit order that said sell at the psych level, so it's a limit order now, right? It has to go the spread above so that this lower number, the bid price, is 0, 0. So the ask price has to go the spread above, like 3 or 4 pips above, so that the bid hits the 0, 0. The ask is up here. The difference is the spread, and boom, it comes down. So you need to put that in your understanding of how the market works. So in this case here, you're buying this price. Pretty interesting, huh? So here we are. We're actually, even though I said this looks like a downtrend, you're supposed to be ready to buy near the psych level. You understand? If you're a bull, if you're doing this just because I just pointed it out, you're throwing your career away. If you didn't have this planned out 2 hours ago, 3 hours, if you didn't have this planned out last night, then you're just throwing your career away by doing it now. You're like, wait, Wayne said I should buy it. No. That's not what I said. It's not what I said. Oops. But if you were a bull and you were setting up a 1, 2, 3 pattern yesterday, now you should be interested in putting together your technical entry. Okay. So we were looking at this, and I said it's really a bullish setup. And you would be thinking this if you were doing that. Okay? And if you don't have all this set up, then you're just not doing your job. That's all. Don't worry about it. Okay? Yeah, Pippin, stops are always going to be the same. For a stop to be executed, you have to touch the price. So you put your stop here, right? And depending on what direction you're doing, yeah, you have to account for the spread. So what do you think? Amazing how I just said this would go up. What an unbelievable coincidence, huh? Has anybody been having like aha moments recently? By the way, this is where a bear would sell. Has anyone been having aha moments, like things just like hammers clicking into place, unlocking, bits of knowledge, where you're just like, holy crap, I see it now. A little bit. Cool. Oh, look, it just turned red. How did I know it was going to do that? Because that's where a bear would sell if you were a bear. Right? If you're a bear, you would sell there. If you're not a bear, then it wouldn't be a problem, right? See? But then you're like, Wayne, I don't know what you just told me I should be doing. Well, I told you, you should be buying down here. And if you're selling, you should be selling there. Right? Michael's still, waiting for the light is that you know what you want to do before you do it, which is kind of like a plan. And you're like, how do you know what you want to do before you do it? Well, you do some analysis, and you have some conviction, right? You say, oh, I want to be a bull, so I'm going to wait. I can't buy in a downtrend, so I will wait. Right, that kind of stuff. So a bull is thinking, all right, it's going to challenge here. Okay? And you don't know if we're just going to blow through it or if it comes down. Let's do it this way. Let's say it goes down that far and then wimps out and does that. Okay? That's one scenario. And then it would probably head farther, but it would head up, right? Or we just blow through this now and kind of get up into this area. but then I would also assume some sort of pullback before the breakout. Okay, which one happens? You know, I don't know. But if you're a bull, right? If you're a bull, this is your area. And we can casually talk about it. Even though price has been falling for hours, we can just casually talk about it like, oh, it's going to turn green soon. Look at that. Look how many candles it's basically been going down. We can just sit here like, oh yeah, it's going to go up now. How far up? I don't know. I'm not in control of that. Unless I keep adding more and more and more money and I'm the one driving up the market. But I'm not that big, right? So, will it go up from here? I don't know. I just know that that's where a bull would buy. So that's all that matters. And then you can jam a stop and try again if it double bottoms, or leave your stop a little bit lower and just risk the 20 or 30 pips. Or you just, for the rest of the day and the rest of the week, you are buying dips on this because you're like, well, at the end of the year, I will be long Kiwi yen. I know it. Okay? And you say, and because it's kicking off the 55, it's supposed to bottom out. So there's my triple bottom. Huh, 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 huh. Right? And of course, the opposite could be true, and you simply need to plan for that. So let's reverse the scenario. There is no doubt the 55 is in control. So even if you're a bear, you would say, all right, well, it's going to come down. We're going to test this 73 to 72.50-ish area. And then it's going to come back and catch the old 21 and break out. And the 21 is going to go da 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 da. That's what a bear would do. And of course, USD yen would be on its way, like we said, to 98, right? To the monthly, weekly pivot cluster of whatever it was, 98.50, 98.00. I can't remember, but you know, down, right? You see, guys? And we call this a reset because the 21 lost control, but it was just the debate, right? So it spiked up and then continued mission again. That's what a bear would think. That's what a bear would do. So now I could observe that. So if we do go farther down and then it comes back, this is a sell area. You know what's interesting? It's our current buy area. Oh, really? Yeah. Support becomes resistance. Resistance becomes support. Cats living with dogs. Yeah. Fire and brimstone kind of stuff. Cool, right? So anyways, it's feeling pretty good. Coming up to the 786, but it's feeling all right. Beep, 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 which means where the bears are not showing up, right? Whoa, 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 whoa. Bears are not showing up to the party. Next stop, if we can get through here, is 73.50. Fitty way up there. So do what you want to do. Just make sure you're planning and not reacting. There are opportunities out there if you want, and you could play both sides of the fence if you want. You know, you could be selling euro yen and buying Kiwi yen, and at least one of them should be right. Man, euro dollar just crashing, and pigs looking pretty good. Oh, look at it now. Explosion, as they say in France. Excellent. Yeah. No, 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 no. Spank you very much. Okay, Rangers. Here comes the Rangers. Life is great, life is grand, life is good. All right, so, yeah. Yeah. How about CAD? You know, CAD yen yesterday, not last night, but yesterday was just a wonderful short trade. We can do USD CAD again. Remember, if oil, oh, that's peso. No wonder I'm like, that don't look right. Okay. So we had this going up, right? Why did this just take off like a rocket ship? Why did the Canadian dollar just crash? Something with oil? Yeah. The oil market just opened up for trading right around here. The oil pit. Pelosi spoke yesterday, but is he speaking again now? I get so mixed. There's always somebody talking. He spoke yesterday, and he said, based on their analysis of oil, that it'll be 3 to 5 years before recovery. Yeah. So you can see the commitment of traders report is accurate. One of the things we've been saying over the last couple of weeks, based on commitment of traders report, which we did on Monday, is that it tells us that even though the euro dollar is going up, it has a high propensity for another crash, so to speak, right? Yeah, Fred says more like 8 years. He said specifically 3 to 5, but yeah. Yeah, it was funny. When I left Canada, life in Canada was pretty simple, provincial. Everything was great. Then I visited a few years later. Canadian dollar was still 50 cents to the American dollar, and I went there, and everything was half price, and everything was good. And all of a sudden, grain prices started going up, and oil prices started going up, and gold prices started going up. And another like 5 year stretch goes by, and then I go and visit Canada, and everyone's got cell phones and bedazzled denim, and they're eating sushi, and I'm like, what the is this? This is not Canada. Eating sushi in Canada? In Saskatchewan? Oh, what the? Yeah, with maple syrup. Yeah, like it just didn't exist until everyone got filthy, stinking rich. But so, anyways, right? Daniel will know, right? Yeah, driving a Ferrari. Daniel will know. Man, that would never have happened 20 years ago. Let's say, just never. No way. You want guaranteed poverty? Open up a sushi restaurant outside of Japantown. By the way, if you open up a sushi restaurant, you are Japantown. Just wow. So, anyways, it was just a very interesting cultural shift that happened very, very quickly. Money will do it, though, huh? Disposable income, imports. So anyways, so oil is Oscar Mike, partially, let's say, because oil always moves at this time of day. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work because I don't know what happened yesterday, but this happened a little bit later, but nice flip there, huh? So, yeah, so I think people are going to want to sell oil off because there's no way OPEC's going to be able to do their job. But that's what I opened up with today. Right? That's the first thing I covered today. So it's nice every once in a while when it actually happens. Yay! Actually, you know what? I just had gravy on my French fries like 2 days ago, probably Monday night. No, it was Sunday night. That's right. Guess what? So we have an African American waitress, and we're at a place that has a lot of football games on the screens, casual dining, right? And my son likes wings, and there's a Monday night wing special. All you can eat wings. And I'm like, oh, my son's going to love that, right? So I say to the waitress, I'm like, hey, is it only Monday Night Football that you're going to have tomorrow? Or can we come in for the debate? Will you have the debate on TV? And she's like, what debate? I'm like, the presidential debate, it's kind of important. She looked at me and she's like, I didn't know there was a presidential debate. And the interesting thing is the way, in her eyes, she looked at me and said, I'm not going to vote. Seriously, like, totally disenfranchised. Didn't know it was on, don't really care it's on now that I know. I'm not going to vote. My vote is worthless. It's the end of the world. We have a black president that didn't do jack for me. So it ain't going to get better once we put one of these crazy white people in. So I said, well, can you get gravy for my fries? And she messed that up. So I got French fries. But anyway, long story. But yeah, just like didn't care. Totally disenfranchised. Not part of that process. Which is really sad because she is. But she feels like she isn't. So, wow. Terrible. I've never understood that American philosophy. Like, I'm not going to vote because my vote doesn't count. Like, well, if you did vote, it would be counted. I mean, by definition, somebody would count it. So anyways, let's just get filthy stinking rich. Make our personal problems go away, or at least our financial problems. So sell oil, like we talked about yesterday. Great. Came down again today. Look at this. Breakthrough retracement. Now, let's look at some of these things. This is a 5-minute chart on oil. Has nothing to do with Forex, right? Right? Check this out. Down to a fib of yesterday's trading range. Up to the daily central pivot point, 45.60, straight down to the daily support pivot point. Oil traders definitely use daily pivots. Would you agree? So it's one of these things, even though it's an obvious question, you actually need to answer it because you're training yourself. So how could you trade oil without daily pivots? Well, you could do it unprofitably. That's one way, right? Yeah, I don't believe in damn pivots. I don't use no cell phone. I don't need no cell phone. Never have, never will. All right. So we're going in that. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. Nothing's right, I'm told. You're a little late. I've already taken profit. I know what I want to do. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. You're a little late. I've already traded. Long just lying naked on the floor. What's this one? False? No, I'd want that to be true. 4-hour false, daily true, the month of, all right, yeah, okay. So here's the interesting thing, right? Seems like a pivot cluster here, weekly, daily, and monthly. This possibly could have been important. Where's the next clusters? I'm already told. There's another one down. Oh, that's actually an overlap. Daily S3, weekly S1. It's like there's 3 in here, right? Daily, weekly. Is there a monthly in there? DS. No. Very interesting, right? S&P 500 turning red. Typically, I would be buying yen. So I'll end with a fun one from yesterday. I don't think we covered it yet, but yesterday CAD yen was fun. It just like fell and fell and fell and fell. It was just wonderful. This was the spike of the presidential debate, throws everything off, right? So let's go to an hourly chart. Look what it did yesterday. Tokyo down, London open, spank you very much, right? Back to the 21, down, back to the 21, down, and then this. And the really, really sad thing is I was on my cell phone and I'm looking at all my yen trades. I'm like, son of a biatch. I just made a ton of money. It was this spike here. I'm like feeling all good. Have you ever had these situations? I'm looking at my MT4 chart on my or my MT4 account on my cell phone. I'm just like cruising around the backyard stuff. I'm like, I'm a freaking genius. Look at that huge amount of money. I just crushed it. I'm like the world's greatest. And then after in the middle of the presidential debate, I'm like, hey man, I'm probably crushing it right now. So I take a sip of wine and I pop open my cell phone and open up my MT4 and I'm like, motherfucker. Motherfucker, son of a, jeez. My wife's like, what's going on over there? It's gold. Son of a yes, gold. Damn it. Right? Yeah, thank God for stop losses is all I can say. But still, son of a mother of a, and then here we are right back where we were. But yeah, for a short amount of time, I was a freaking genius. I got it made, man. But I guess this is why you're supposed to get out here. This is how I felt at the moment. Son of a, but hindsight, right? Hindsight. What are you gonna do? All right. Well, right. I was going to get out at 75. I thought we would tickle it down to the psych level and then pop it, but I don't know. Stupid presidential debate, whatever. So, like I said, you might be a cunning linguist, but I'm a master debater. So it happens to everybody, guys. That's how it goes. But at least, now you know how I roll, where I'm like running around the house with my cell phone so I can watch my MT4 charts. That's what you do. So, peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. And I'll see you tomorrow. Get those accounts at TradersWay.com, huh? You said you would. I'm already told. See you tomorrow.